Hi guys, Transient Goddess here. So I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about current events and share some knowledge. um, I just recently saw a news report on CBSN about Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, and I'm so very happy that this has reached the mainstream media. Like, I'm really fucking happy that all of the regular population is gonna get a glimpse of certain things, and I hope that we are able to continue to make this a point, that to stop complacency. Basically, I believe that our society has been complacent for a very long time, and our complacency has at the same time enabled the abuse and the enslavement that has been occurring behind all of the politics and all of the major historical, like all of the tragedies that's happened. Behind all of the tragedies, a whole bunch of issues were occurring, and most of the population just stayed complacent. I just wish that we could just uprise now. Like, I wish that all of us would just understand what's going on and just make the choice, to make a better world for our future. Like, that's 100% what I want. But this is not what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I wanted to kind of share the information that I understand about conditioning and how it ties into the mainstream music, mostly the music that we listen to. So a few years ago in 2009, 2010, I read a book by Kathy O'Brien. It's called Transformation of America. I actually found a PDF. So if you guys are interested, reach me on my website, thetranscendentgoddess.com, or you can go on my Instagrams and send me a message. In that book, it taught me that there's a government program experimenting with mind control. It's called the MK Ultra program, and basically in the book she describes herself as an MK Ultra sex slave. And when I read that book, I didn't realize the age. Please keep that in mind. I read that book years ago, and I'm thinking this person is an adult. I never understood the reality of it being children until recently. But in that book, she described several times how, and just to recap, I'm gonna read it again because I would like for me to have this information and keep this information now that I'm awake. But she basically says that, and describes how the US government basically brought drugs into the United States. And she basically describes sexual acts that she was forced to take on with politicians, and very big name politicians, by the way. And in that book, she kind of explains how it all works. And if you guys take a look at the entertainment industry, we have certain movies like The Manchurian Candidate. There's another movie that I'm thinking that I know of, but the name just went off my head. And I actually wrote about this earlier because I want it to be part of my manual that I'm working on. But there's movies out there that describe the level of knowledge that certain organizations within governmental entities have access to, the knowledge that they know, and they have kept this knowledge hidden from the general population, all because of control. Because they know that if we were to find the knowledge, they would not be able to use it the way that they've been using it. Okay? So with the MK Ultra program, the government literally understood that if you were to emit specific frequencies or have people listen to specific wavelengths, it helps the brainwashing process. And by you having people listen to specific music, you are able to keep that individual in that wavelength, emitting those frequencies. Because music, our memories are attached to the music that we listen to at times. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't like listening to music from like 2000s to like maybe 2016. I don't like listening to those music because it reminds me of that time period in my life. And this happens to everyone. Music connects our neurons and it helps you remember. So these people, these scientists that have been paid off, obviously, have known this. And what they did is, years ago, they realized that they could manipulate people's perception, and they can in turn brainwash individuals by the wavelength that they put in the music. And that also entails the lyrics within these songs. So when you learn a bit about psychology, the very first thing that they teach you is the conditioned, how the brain can be conditioned into doing something. So they say it takes 21 days to develop a routine. It takes 21 days of repeated activity to develop that activity as a routine. It takes, I'm not sure how long it takes for you to continually say something, for you to believe that or find that as the way that you automatically react. So when I was talking about the songs, because I constantly talk about this, I stopped listening to mainstream music a long time ago. I only listen to it when my friends listen to it. Mostly my phone is old music that I used to listen to before I stopped listening to music, and classical music, because the high tones in the music, it raises your wavelengths, it raises your frequencies, and it helps you with your thought process. It is proven that listening to classical music helps you think. And so I don't know, I'm different. But psychologists and scientists already know this, and they have allowed these individuals that don't really care about humanity, they don't care about our positive prosperity at all, to rule on what it is allowed to be shown on television. So they control the amount of information or the perception of the information that we intake. And they control the music, because in every lyric, like, for me, it connects that every song that you listen to, it kind of gives you a mirror of what our society currently goes through. You know, a lot of our popular songs right now, they're all about sex, they're all about drugs, they're all about spending money, they're all about drinking, and this is what we see our culture doing, our society doing in general. because they're conditioning our thought process to, if you feel heartbroken and you have the need to, have a sexual release, it is okay for you to go back to your ex. They're creating that triangle drama that just makes everything so negative in life. Our behaviors as individuals can be literally described in songs. And these are songs that we listen to over and over and over again. Guys, when I like a song, I don't listen to it one time. I'm listening to that song over and over and over and over again. So all of the words are already, it's an unconscious process. You can not even look at you don't even have to have the song playing and you know the lyrics. And that's part of conditioning. So every song that we're listening to is conditioning us to think the way this song is telling us to think. It's not the other way around. Songs don't mimic everyone's experience, but we all can relate to it, because in a way they're telling us to relate to our emotions the way the song is telling us to react. And it took me so long to understand that. Like it literally took me a while for me to understand what it is that I want versus what it is that I've been conditioned to want. And you want proof of it? The next song you listen to, think about how it reflects our society. Like I just ask you to do this because it's so true that every time you're going through a heartache and you listen to a song, it emanates an emotion, and it keeps you in that emotion because you're emanating that emotion. And it's like they're telling us to react to this in this specific way. You look at everything that we see on mainstream media, the songs, the symbolism, it's not a coincidence. It's so repeated now. It's not a coincidence. The truth of things is they're out there already. There's documentaries, there's movies out there. They're trying to make it seem like it's not as hard or it's not as bad as it is. But dude, these people have been molesting and selling children for decades. These people, and I don't even, I know you guys still relate to these Hollywood stars and these politicians, but wake the fuck up. Because these people don't care about you. They only care about themselves, their survival in the way they look, and about money. Okay? They selling kids, man. And these kids are being raped.
Fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. But in terms of numbers, it's actually getting up to drug trafficking. And the reason is you can sell a bag of cocaine one time, but you can sell a child,
oh my gosh,
10, 20 times in a 24-hour period.
The guy said 10 to 20 times a day. And this is just the kids that survive. Okay? Their statistics is 800,000 children that go missing in the US alone every year. 800,000 kids, guys. There's about 460,000 confirmed COVID cases in the US, and only about 34,000 of them, 32, are dying. And these kids, this 800,000 kids, if you look at the videos, these little girls are saying, the survivors and the people that are coming forward, they're saying that they were at least 8 girls in one room at a time. Imagine, just think about it. A room full of people, there's 5 adults and all of the little girls. 13, 14, that's a kid. And that's the lesser part about it. Because when you get to the higher ups in politics and you look at the research, Dude, they molesting infants. They are molesting infants, and it's sad. There's videos out there there's a video out there that I found on social media where there's this little girl speaking to her therapist, and she's describing how her father has made them murder an infant. And she talks about how they cut off the baby's head, and how because she's not strong enough, her dad pushes her hand.
They get the knife they use for cutting the baby's head off. Big Chinese ones, which you chop up coconuts and stuff. Because our dad, he forces me and Gabriel to do it. But because we can't, we're not strong enough to cut the baby's head off, he does us to hold the knife, and he puts his hand at the top of our hand, and he helps us to cut the baby's head off.
Could you imagine, like, this is an 8-year-old, and she's talking about it, and she's talking about it like it's just a regular experience for her. Imagine how many times she's had to do that. You know, imagine like these little kids, and you really, really start thinking about it. These children, there are children that were born in this world that don't have anyone to care for them, that have been made to experience all these atrocities. There are kids that even they don't have the support system, and these children are our future. And you can't expect a person that has been through trauma that deeply seated inside of them to grow and be a normal or a happy adult in our society as the one that we're living in. Could you imagine if you were to have gone through those experiences that you have been made to live in our reality? It's like, this is the reason why I speak up and I do what I do, because these kids, they didn't have a choice. They went through the experiences that they went through, and they're going through the experiences that they're going through, and they didn't have a choice. So if you choose to keep ignoring the fact that you're being brainwashed by all the music that you're listening to, you're allowing them to brainwash you. And those individuals were raping kids and murdering kids. So all those entertainers that you idolize, and all those people that, you know, yo perreo sola, you know, you keep thinking about it, you idolizing these motherfuckers, like they're in the circle of people that rape kids. Again, I don't want to hear that. Like, I really don't, because there should be no reason for you to promote or support anyone that does this to kids. You know, like, I wish you think about it. Like, literally think about your choices, and the choices that you make, are they benefiting you because you're being lazy about your choices, or are they benefiting anyone that's causing or that's making positive moves on this planet? Because this sucks, man, and people have to wake up. Like, you guys have to acknowledge the facts. These are facts. Like, what else do you want? You want the videos? There's about, I think I read an article that said 9 NYPD officers killed themselves after watching Frazzle Drip. And that's only one of the videos. I found a cartoon that it describes Frazzle Drip, basically. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, the police. The police are gonna catch up with me eventually. They'll lock me up. They'll put me in with the animals. Jesus Christ, what have I become? What kind of monster am I? I want to let you free, I really do. I really, really do. But the time has come for me to dispose of you. I've had my sexual fill, and I cannot allow your presence to distract me from my job as head writer and host of the wildly successful television show Unbelievable Tales. God forgive me! You're my inspiration. You're my inspiration. You're my inspiration.
I wish you'd wake up. I really do. And really think about your choices. Who are you supporting? Because I want to create a better world, and that means we all, if we really want it to happen, we all need to come together. We all need to come together and work on making it better. And it's happening. If you feel like you don't really want to do anything about it, and you just want to, complacently live, that's okay. But at least forward the video. At least share the information, because there's no reason why innocent kids kids shouldn't be sexualized. It's sickening. It makes me sick to know that all of the people that create those cartoons that our kids love, they prey on those kids. All of those guys that create all these TV shows, they're used to this. This is a lifestyle for them. They have accustomed our society to accepting this behavior. Look at most people you see nowadays, they still don't understand the huge issue with Biden acting the way he does with children. They have slowly accustomed our society to accepting this. And slowly we're okaying it, we're allowing it. And it's okay. And pretty much soon the age of consent is gonna be down to 10. And who the fuck at 10 years old thinks or knows about sex? So I have seen things on the web where it's little children, like 4, 2, toddlers, babies, infants. I want you guys all to think about it, because if we live in a world right now where there's a child that has been videotaped, and I'm sure there's more, but this one child describes her experience, and if we live in a world where this innocent child can describe this without feeling emotion, we've lived to create a world where these kids accept this behavior. Like sexually, honestly, our society has reached a point where adults, daddy is a used word during sex for normal adults. And you think about it, that's a conditioned, that's a behavior that's been conditioned. Who realistically, think about it, who, come on, guys. I would never think of no, it's wrong. So I'm sorry, but no matter, regardless of your preferences. This is a rooted issue for all of us that we have to process. We have to process these emotions. You have to go through the uncomfortable, because there's infants out there who have already been molested. And how are we supposed to guide them if we can't guide ourselves? So please think about it. And I urge you, if you feel like any of my information was helpful to you in any way, share my video. You know, that's all I ask. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to be heard. You know, and I feel like sometimes my perspectives are very out of the box. And I love that about myself. So, you know, I feel like sharing knowledge is the way that I share love, and I show love towards our planet in general. And that's why I'm doing this, regardless of the repercussions. So thank you for listening. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help me spread the word to create a better future for our society.